91.3 WVKR. Independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. It's 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. It must be time for a local motion here on 91.3 WVKR. Thanks for joining us today. Show number 257 for me on these airwaves. Always a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And if it's your first time tuning in today, this show is all about music of the Hudson Valley. Musicians that live here, those coming to perform in our area venues, as well as those coming to record in our world-class area recording studios. Thrilled to be joined today with my guest coming on calling in a few minutes, I should say, Mr. Tony Falco. Yay! Tony is the owner of the Falcon in Marlboro, New York. Live at thefalcon.com. Many people that love live music are very familiar with our beloved Falcon in Marlboro. Really look forward to talking with Tony more about it during these trying times, of course, for live music. So we'll have a lot to talk about. We'll throw in a little history of the Falcon, too, if some of you are not aware of the start and the creation of the beautiful venue we now know as the Falcon. So Tony will be calling in a few minutes. And in the meantime, we will start this show off with some music. And lo and behold, we'll start it off with The Restless Age. Restless Age consists of Lee Falco. Yes, that's Tony's son. And Will Bryant and Brandon Morrison. So let's start off right now with The Restless Age while we wait for Tony Falco to give a call. 91.3 WVKR.
Trying to come around, and I'm still looking for a good way out. I'm still looking for a good way out. Every night and every day I try to keep the action light. Now and then change your mind, you can leave it behind without the colors fading. I told you once, I told you twice, I told you about 1,000 times. You can flip a coin and play your life, but you can never do the same with mine. I know I'm the bad guy.
Happy New Year and Happy New You with exciting new styles to inspire your
91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. We just heard The Restless Age there with Good Way Out. And Lee Falco, the drummer of that band, is the son of Tony Falco, who I have on the phone. Tony, you there with me?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Wonderful thing. Thanks so much for being here today. It's really good to talk to you again. It's been a while since you've been on the show here, and I just thought it would be fitting for you to be a guest today. So thank you for your time.
Oh, sure, Rita. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, I've been, we'll delve into the history a little bit of the Falcon, because I know thousands of people have been to your place, but maybe not everybody really knows how you all started it up. But, you know, I just want to say, you're open. You are open. Your restaurant is open. And I've been lucky enough to have dinner at the Falcon a couple of times during this last few months since you've moved inside. And incidentally, there was some beautiful live music. So,
oh, yes. We've been having great music as well as keeping the restaurant open.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm proud to continue, and hopefully things will get better and we'll do more in the future.
Yeah. Before you can bring it back outside, you had such a great thing going this summer with the beautiful patio, the deck that you have overlooking the beautiful Marlboro Falls there. So, got some great times there this summer as well. So, for you, just so you know, and I'm sure I'm not alone when I say this, being able to go to the Falcon these past 6 months that you've been back open has been what's been my lifeline to sanity. So,
me too.
Yeah.
You know, when it was closed in spring and summer, it was kind of depressing. You know, I so missed the live music.
Right.
So it was so nice to get back to it in July and have continued throughout.
Yeah, you are. I don't know, you know, you're one of the biggest supporters I've ever met of music and live music, and particularly the musicians. You can't say this about everybody, and every time I've talked to you on air, I always say it. You really, truly remind me of James Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life. While I don't mean financially you're the richest man in town, I mean that with love from everyone that has ever stepped foot in the Falcon. The musicians simply adore you, and it's a testament to the people that you have coming back all the time as far as the quality and caliber of world-class musicians that you get to host most each and every weekend. So, yeah. Tony, it's a love fest here when you're on the phone with me. That's all I got to say. So,
well, we've built something quite nice, and the mission is support living artists, and it's from the heart.
Mm-hmm. It sure is.
Look out for the artists and take care of them, and do our best with the patrons. And I think we've created something nice.
Yeah, you have. And talk to me about the art before I forget that, because you always have such a beautiful display of art from living artists.
Yes, well, visual artists, we, in the main room we have a nice gallery here, and we change the artwork every 2 months. Or we had been Jessica Brush, Lee's girlfriend, and Brush Textiles. She's the one who was the curator of the artwork, and every 2 months we would have a different visual artist, and that's been going on for years.
Yep.
Actually, it was every 3 months before Jess got involved. It was just too much for me, but she was into it and moved it up to every 2 months. Right now, Maria Lago's work is here. I think next month Ned Moran is going to do a rock and roll museum show upstairs. Nice. Because nothing is going on downstairs in the rock and roll museum since March.
Right.
So we'll give Ned some wall space, and we'll have some great rock artwork on the walls.
Yeah.
And actually, Maria Lago's work is for sale, and we always give 100% to the visual artist of sales. We don't take a cut, but Ned's not selling anything.
No.
You just come in and check it out. He wants just to share, and I love that.
Yeah, he's got some great stories. Every time I've gone into the Falcon Underground, there's always something I haven't seen before. You know, you can't just walk by. You just have to stop and look, and there's just thousands of pieces of memorabilia. In case listeners aren't familiar with the Falcon in Marlboro, it's 3 stories, this building. Let's talk about the history of this building and then your involvement with it that dates back quite some time now, if you don't mind.
Well, it's a water-powered factory. It's built on the Latin Creek here. That's why we have this beautiful waterfall next to us. It was built as a button factory, making buttons for clothing out of seashells. It was called the Pioneer Button Factory.
Love it.
And that was in the early 1800s. It went through quite a few different incarnations. It was a roller skating rink, wooden wheels back in the late 1800s. It was a basket factory, I heard. It was a brokerage house for goods that were going on barges and railroad from the farmers in the area. They would stop here, and the brokers would pay for their goods and then ship them off on the Hudson River on barges or put them on the railroad. It was a health club at one point.
Wow.
And then it was a cabinet maker shop when I bought it. Carmen Cavoli had his Carmen's Kitchen cabinets here.
And when did you buy it? What year?
I believe it was 2007. I bought the building from Carmen. I had the old Falcon, which was the house concert behind my home.
Mm-hmm.
And that started in 2001. I outgrew that space. Bought this building in 2007. Put my laboratory downstairs, Environmental Lab Works, and then built the main room of the Falcon and opened up shows in 2009 and moved from the old Falcon to the new one, and the existing one at least, and then built the middle floor out probably around 2011. That opened up and started doing music there, and had Avalon Archives rock and roll museum in there. So it's been nice. We have 3 stages now. We have the outside stage in the beer garden. We have the underground stage, which is part of the Rock and Roll Museum, and then we have the main stage upstairs.
Upstairs, yeah. It's a whole little compound you got going on there, Tony.
Yeah, I'm lucky. It's a beautiful spot.
It is a beautiful spot. Tell me, if you would, after the Hurricane Irene and the damage that it caused, and how you rebuilt that exterior, because it's as exquisite as the interior is.
Well, yeah, we took a big hit in Hurricane Irene. The Latin Creek was roaring, and it overcame the walls, the bulkhead that we had, and took out the decking that I had built, and the back of the parking lot created a lot of damage. So we had to rebuild the whole thing, and we did it, to the next step. I took a big loan and made a beautiful beer garden with stone walls and decking overlooking the falls, and I built a much larger bulkhead, a wall at the stream, so I could handle a storm quite a bit bigger than Hurricane Irene, hopefully.
Hopefully that'll never come, but at least you're prepared.
Yes, it's, with climate change, it's threatening.
Yes.
That we'll have another storm. They said that was a 100-year storm, but I don't believe it.
We're having them every few years now, aren't we?
Yes, so even with building it higher than needed, I'm still nervous about Mother Nature
Right.
throwing some wrath on us.
Yeah. Well, lo and behold, how wonderful that you did that, because unbeknownst to any of us, look at what 2020 brought us with a pandemic and having to move your operations outside.
Right.
Yeah.
We had a nice facility to have outside shows, and it looked and sounded great out there. I really enjoyed the late summer shows. Even with social distancing, we were able to get quite a few people, about 130 people at each show, and it felt really safe outside. During the pandemic, we could social distance, and there was great sight lines to the stage, and it just sounds really nice out there. The waterfall really wasn't too high from July through October, so it was a nice season that we had, and it was pretty, not a lot of rain, so most of the shows went on. I think I only had to cancel 3 of them due to inclement weather.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was nice because your stage out there is so, it's all level, like staggered. It's not one level. You've got really perfect for distancing, which is exactly what we needed, this summer. So, it was just so great. And it wasn't a bad seat anywhere because the sound was just so great, and there were some real memorable shows there, at least that I went to. There were many more that I unfortunately didn't go to, but the ones that I went to, there were some that were just really remarkable. I remember Sex Mob being there and doing some sort of a memorial. You'll have to tell me more about that one. And you had like a beautiful campfire going out there. It was just really memorable. Medeski was there as well.
Yeah, that was a special night. A friend, a good Falcon friend, Rob Height, he passed away. He's a visual artist, sculptor, and painter. Had his studio and home up in Esopus, and he was good friends with Steven Bernstein, the guys from Sex Mob. And when Robert passed away, we decided to have a tribute to him, and that's what that Sex Mob show. That's why I made the fire out in the stream bed. Just it was a tribute to Robert Height, and we had his artwork on around. If you remember that evening on the sides of the stage. Robert was a great artist. He'll be surely missed, and he was loved by many. And it was an honor to be able to do a tribute to him. We always talked about doing an outside show on the grounds. His artwork is three-dimensional and architectural and just really interesting stuff in it. The setting of the waterfall here was just perfect for his artwork, and we were talking about putting different sculpture pieces out along the waterfall and just having them observed from the decking, and it never happened. And we figured we'd do something outside with his artwork, so that was very nice, and his family and friends all came, and it was a special show. It
really was. It was.
And I love Sex Mob. That's a great band.
Oh, so much fun. So much fun. And then when you have the addition of John Medeski on the B3 joining Sex Mobs, I mean, my goodness, it was just such a memorable show.
Oh, that's right. The Brigham Krause, the saxophone player from Sex Mob, didn't make it, so they asked John Medeski to sit in, and instead of a sax, we had keyboards, and John is amazing, so it just was a cool night.
Right. Only you, Tony Falco, brings a B3 outside.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was tough this summer, doing the back line. We had to carry piano and B3 and Fender Rhodes out there. We had to pull the PA out every night. So it was a bit of extra work, but it was cool,
Yeah. Yeah, it was a labor of love, and your wonderful wait staff, who we all know and love so much. They got their exercise this summer, up and down those stairs and everything, and everybody just looked happy though, and everybody just looked like that's exactly where they wanted to be. And again, that level of unity that music brings to everybody, and it was so apparent at your place, particularly.
Yeah, the different levels, like from the lowest tables to the upstairs, it's probably 4 or 5 flights.
Yeah.
So the wait staff and the runners, they're all working hard.
Yeah, they were.
But such a cool scene out there. Everyone loved it, and people like Sex Mob and John Medeski were playing out. And unfortunately for the artists, there wasn't much work.
Right.
And fortunately for me, they wanted to play, so I had great bands outside.
Yeah, you
Club
did.
Delph with John Medeski played. Osnoy brought a few bands.
Mike Stern,
right, who's also done some inside shows. The Big Takeover, Ciro Baptista. I had great ones outside. It just was an amazing season.
Yeah.
Hollis Brown, Sundub. Really cool stuff.
Really cool stuff. And then, of course, New York State came down upon all of these venues. And, I know you guys are also on your website. I always, every show that I have and talk about the Falcon, I always steer people to go to your website, live@thefalcon.com, sign up for your email list and stay abreast of what's happening at the Falcon, because you tell us that what's going on with New York State and venues right now.
Well, we're not allowed to advertise the shows, so the music is supposed to be incidental to the food according to the State Health Department, and it's enforced by the New York State Liquor Authority. They don't want a bacchanal happening with everyone getting drunk and dancing in front of the stage, which really doesn't happen at the Falcon, but they had a mandate that venues, if they served food, they could have music as long as the music was incidental to the food. So we stopped all advertising, and the website no longer says who's playing at the Falcon. The Falcon is open at this time, just the main stage on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday each week, but we don't advertise who's playing. We do send out an email to people and a private invite to the show so they can find out what's happening.
Yep.
People can get on our email list if they just go to the Falcon website and sign up, and we'll let you know what's happening. And it's quite safe, or it seems quite safe here. It's a big room, and we're only doing 50% capacity. We social distance the tables. All tables are 6 feet from each other and 12 feet from the stage. We have smaller ensembles now on the stage, and the musicians, most of them are wearing masks for the shows, and they're socially distanced up on the stage. So
and your staff is all masked too. I will have to add that in.
Of course.
Yeah.
We sanitize everything. We check the temperature of the staff. We have ionizers in our heat exchangers that supposedly kill viruses and bacteria. That should be helping, and we also bring in outside air to change the air in the room quite often, and I crack doors. I feel bad because the patrons complain. Even some of the musicians complain about, it being cold in the room. But I would rather us be safe and a little bit cold than getting people sick.
Yes.
So I ask people to dress warmly.
Bring a scarf.
We turn the heat up pretty good before the shows. It's probably 75 degrees in here before people come in, and then we crack the doors and turn on the exhaust fan, and it probably goes down to the 60s by the time people are leaving, so it gets a little chilly, but we have hot soup and hot food and coffee, cocoa, tea, whatever you need to keep warm. And
you got whiskey too, Tony. You got whiskey on the shelf too. That keeps you warm.
That's right. We have good whiskey and good spirits to keep us going. And I do appreciate people coming out and supporting the music in these times, and we're doing the best we can to keep everyone safe and to keep the music alive.
Yeah, you absolutely are. And, I haven't really gone out to eat other than going to the Falcon because I see the way you guys do it. And I'm honest about that. I've gotten takeout from restaurants because I do want to support places.
Sure.
Once or twice a week you get the takeout. And the only place me personally have sat in is the Falcon. And you guys really are separated way more than most restaurants I've walked by or been in to take pickup. And I feel good there, and it's just a good place. And just that couple of hours of music, man, it keeps the sanity. Everything's starting a lot earlier now too, right? Music for you usually starts around 7.
Yes, between 7 and 7:30. We're only open from 6 till 9. We serve dinner from 6 till 9. I figure it's better to get people in and out, so we're asking the performers just to do one set of music. They usually start between 7 and 7:30, and it's over by 9. Great lineup, though. People are coming and playing. This weekend I have Buffalo Stack on Friday. Saturday's the Balkan Brothers. Sunday is Richard Julian's band. Next week I have Brian Colazzo's group, B-Ski.
What is that? I haven't heard of them.
He's a really cool guy, Brian Colazzo. He was in a band, I think the lead singer of a band called Live Society that was in the Newburgh, Hudson Valley area. But he moved down to the city. But he's a wonderful singer, and he does the Christmas at the Falcon show that he hosts. And
oh, nice! The benefit that you have every year.
Yeah, that's Brian. If you've seen that, you've seen him.
Gotcha. Yeah, and
in fact, he just did a show with Kate Pearson. That Kate was looking for someone to sing in Spanish, and Brian is Puerto Rican, and I know he sings in both Spanish and English, so I hooked them up, and Kate Pearson just loved Brian.
Oh, that's awesome. That's nice.
That was cool.
That's really, really cool. Let me back up to this weekend, too. And, of course, you need to make a reservation to go to the Falcon, right? You can go to the website again, live at thefalcon.com.
Yeah, or you can just call us at 845-236-7970 and make a reservation like that.
Yeah, make a reservation. I want to step back to this weekend because Buffalo Stack, oh, my God, Andy Stack, right? Lee is playing with them, too?
Right, it's my son Lee on drums. I don't think Will Bryan is on it. I think it's
Jeremy Baum, probably.
Jeremy Baum's on keyboards, yes, and Brandon Morrison on
bass.
Yep. And of course Andy Stack on guitar and lead vocals. And it's a great project. They played here about a month ago and just blew the place away, and I'm really looking forward to that. That's on Friday night.
I remember when I had Lee on the show, he's been on several times, but one of the times, I think it came out, or Andy told us that was the first recording Lee was ever on, was on Buffalo Stack's album in about 6 or 7 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, if you look at the photos from the first Buffalo Stack album, Lee looks like a pretty young kid. He probably was. I don't know how many years ago that was. Maybe. I
think 6 or 7. I think the album. Yeah. I'm
Lee
actually going to play a track off of there today. Yeah.
Lee was in his teens.
Just a little guy at the time. Little guy. And tell me about Saturday's show with the Balkan Brothers. What are they about?
They're like the White Stripes. These guys are from Connecticut, and they're just badass. They usually play duo. The two brothers, one's a drummer and one's guitarist, and they have such a big sound, kind of like the White Stripes, like a rockin' sound. Sam Smith sat in with them last time. I don't know if he's there this time, the bass player, Sam Smith. But they're a national act. They tour all over the country, and amazing players.
It's nice that, that's the one advantage of having all these musicians around now and everybody's home, right? So,
yeah, unfortunately, all the tours have been canceled,
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Tough times, hopefully. I saw an article where Dr. Fauci said hopefully live music will return this fall in earnest, like big concerts and all of that stuff. But time will tell.
It'd be nice to get everyone back to work.
Yeah.
It's more than just the musicians. It's the venues and the agents and the managers and the whole scene is just pretty much dead in its tracks. It's rough.
It is rough. It's so hard. It's look at Broadway is dark and how long it's been dark for, and all these concert halls and
Yeah, it's so sad.
It is. There's an organization too, National Independent Venue Association. I just want to throw that out.
Member NEVA.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that if you would, and if people want to support. I have the website, so I can do that. But what is that about?
Well, it's trying to keep the powers that be to remind them that the live music industry has been devastated, and not to forget them, and make sure that when monies are allocated to help businesses, that they help this industry. So it's real important that we're not forgotten.
Right. Yeah, I mean, every business needs some help right now, and the arts is one at the top. I mean, it's continuous. I think got so hard hit along hospitality industry as well. So it's the organization again. If anybody's listening and wants to support or just make your voice known, it's called the National Independent Venue Association, and the website is NIVASSOC, NIVA Association, nivassociation.org. And you can find that link at the Falcon's website too. So you can always check that out there as well. So, Tony, and so we went and talk to me about Richard Julian. He's Sunday.
Yeah, Richard's great. He's guitarist, singer, songwriter. He owns a club down in Brooklyn that's been closed since March, which is a shame. Cafe Lunatico, that does great music. It's a real creative space, and he's been around the music scene. He's in the band The Little Willies with Nora Jones, and he's one of the players, New York City talented players, but he opened a club, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, and it's really loved by creative artists and people that appreciate the creative arts, and I hope that Richard could get back going again. I think something's up that he couldn't do food outside because there's a stop outside of his club, so he couldn't put tables out in the streets. So he's been shuttered for a long time.
Wow, yeah. Gosh.
But he's one of my favorite artists. He has some great records, and his songs are just powerful. I'm psyched to have him play.
Yeah,
he'll bring a great band of wonderful musicians from New York up.
Yeah, you got a great weekend lined up. Again, Friday with Buffalo Stax, Saturday the Balkan Brothers, and Sunday Richard Julian. You just have to make a reservation Friday, Saturday. Falcon is open. The restaurant at the Falcon is open from 6 to 9. And while you're dining, lo and behold, there might just be some incidental music at the Falcon. I want to go forwards again to next weekend, the 22nd. We talked about the Friday show. Talk to me about Leslie Mendelson, who's going to be at the Falcon on Saturday, the 23rd.
Yes, she's becoming a big star on the scene. I think she was discovered at least by the World by who's a guitarist from the Grateful Dead, not Phil Lesh.
Bob Weir?
Bob Weir, yeah. He watched a video that she did of a Dead song and got in touch with her and asked her to go on tour with him.
Whoa.
So she became, part of the Bob Weir group. And then Jackson Browne took her on, and she toured with Jackson, and she's great. She's one of these singers with a crystal clear voice and a great way that she puts a song across. I kind of think of Nora Jones when I hear Leslie sing.
Wow.
She did perform here as an opening act quite a few years ago, and I was just blown away by her, and since then she's blown up. I'm psyched to have her play, and she's going to just play solo. She plays piano and guitar and will sing, and it's really, to me, that's the best way to see an artist.
Absolutely.
You really get to, hear their creative spirit and, the whole creative process.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to Leslie Mendelson playing here on Saturday. That's
the 23rd.
The 23rd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you have your good old...
Really cool.
She sounds fantastic, and I totally agree with you about the smaller groups, the better. I think that's why I like smaller venues. I don't do big stadium shows all that much anymore, once in a blue moon, but there's something so special about seeing people in such an intimate setting and hearing them, because you really hear them, as individuals, and it's so cool. It's so cool. Then, of course, you've got another great band who's been at the Falcon quite a few times, Dead Grass, on Sunday the 24th.
Yes, it's a bluegrass group. They're just all virtuosos, and they channel Grateful Dead and do Dead-inspired music, stuff by the band, Bob Dylan. But the great players. It's not the regular... Matt Turk is one of the members of Dead Grass, but hasn't been doing the shows. I think he's laying low on C. The guitarist, singer is kind of fronting the band, and it's called Dead Grass and Friends right now.
Oh, nice.
But they've been kind of a mainstay of the Falcon since we opened up outside, and people really love them, and they're a national act that's kind of put on hold with touring, and they're psyched to be playing here, and kind of a rotating cast of characters, but it's a drummerless bluegrass band that does Dead-style music, and it's usually
a lot of
accordion and, the mandolins and banjos and upright bass and guitars and great singers and cool stuff.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And then I also saw on my email update, and I've not heard of this band, so tell me about the band called what?
Yeah, I think there were a bunch of jazz students who went to jazz programs and had this really cool funk kind of New Orleans horn sound, and they sound great. I'm psyched to have them. They haven't played here yet.
Oh, nice.
They sent me a link to their music, and I was really into it, so I gave them the show. They're going to play here on Friday, the
29th.
The 29th. I'm glad you were on top, Rita.
And on Saturday, the 30th of January, you've got Hollis Brown.
Right, and they're going to play, I think, 6 weeks in a row, every Saturday. Let's see, 5 weeks in a row. They're going to do the 30th of January, then the 6th of February, the 13th, 20th, and 27th of February. They're going to play each Saturday night for 5 weeks, and they're going to do a different show each week. They're going to do kind of cover-to-cover of different records. I know at least they're doing Aftermath by the Rolling Stones.
Nice.
Great Stones album. And they're also doing Loaded by the Velvet Underground. One night they'll just do cover to cover the Loaded album, which, is an amazing album that Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground put out. And have you seen Hollis Brown?
I have seen them. I have. Yeah, really good. Plus, Mike is going to be on the show in 2 weeks. So.
And Mike is such a great singer.
Yeah.
He's got a great voice. And
great energy.
Rocking.
Yeah.
Great energy. Yeah, they're fabulous. And they're another national act that would be playing festivals and all over the country. And unfortunately, they don't have venues to play at. So I'm lucky. They want to play. They're going to do a residency here every Saturday night. And they've been another one of these bands that have been playing quite a bit at the Falcon since we opened up in July.
Yep.
Yeah, I really dig them. So I'm psyched to have Hollis Brown doing a residency.
Yeah, and that starts on January 30th. So like I said, I look forward to talking to Mike. He's been on the show a couple of years ago, and it's been a while. So now we're going to talk to him in a couple of weeks, and he'll tell us more. He'll probably have a better feel of what he's going to be doing for those 5 weeks. So we'll share that with the audience as well. We're talking, by the way, if people are just tuning in, we are talking to Tony Falco, owner of Live at the Falcon in beautiful Marlboro, New York. And a couple of shows that you had this summer, too, that I just thought were exquisite. Amy Helm, she did a residency.
She did a residency, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And she used different artists, musicians each time, and Amy's amazing, and her new record is just so cool. She has such soul, and she's definitely a Hudson Valley treasure, and it's nice to have her play here and with a great band.
Yeah,
My son
absolutely.
played on a couple of those. Lee was drumming on them, which was really nice to have him playing with
It was
Amy.
really nice. I know. I got to say, even my kid got to play one time with her. So Caroline.
Caroline, yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that was kind of awesome. We were just hanging out the week before. Amy's like, hey, bring your violin next week. Just let's play a track. And Caroline's like, what? And sure enough, So Amy is she's another one. She just supports the youth. And her son on the bongos there. It's just so cool.
Yeah, little Lee.
Yeah.
Little Levon.
Yeah.
And he was double drumming with Lee Falco, which was cool.
Oh my God. And Lee was just like giving him the heads up. Just the interaction between the two Lees was so beautiful to watch, it was really special. Those nights with Amy Helm at the Falcon. Another performer that I think I've seen every time he's been there this summer, because he always brings also such unique players, is Oz Noy.
Yeah, Oz is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great guitarist.
Yeah.
He's plays with some of the greats. James Genus did a couple of them on bass.
Anton Fig.
Anton Fig did one. Who's the other great drummer he played with?
Jeff Tane Watts.
Yes. Jeff Tane Watts. Thanks.
You can tell I've been to the Falcon once or twice.
Tane is great. I love him. I should remember his name.
Well, Tony, you got like hundreds of musicians coming through your door. I know you see them, but it's sometimes like that name to come to the mind is a little bit.
Oh, it's tough. I get them mixed up. I've even I've been introducing musicians on the stage, and well, what's their name? Oh, no.
Who's here tonight? Where am I? It's you got a good thing going on there, my friend.
Keeps going.
Yeah,
I'm lucky that people like Oz Noy want to play. Mike Stern, these great guitarists, and all these great musicians want to.
Oh yeah! Oh my
shows
God!
At the Falcon. I'm so lucky.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. And I forgot which show it was where Jack DeJohnette was in the audience. Who did you have in? Must have been Tane Watts or something. Jeff Tane Watts, and he was there or something. I don't know, but
Medeski was on it. Which one was it?
Was it?
Yeah, that was special for me. I love Jack DeJohnette, and he and Lydia came in, and Lydia asked that, I try to keep him warm because it was
chilly outside.
It was October, yes. So I built a little cabana with a heater in it for Jack and Lydia, and to me, it's like, the guys getting to play with Jack DeJohnette. They get so excited if, Jack will ask them to be in his group, or, he sits in with them. For me to make a little cabana and have it ready for Jack and make sure he's all right, that's like for a club owner.
Right.
The cool stuff that I get to do, and instead of getting to play with Jack DeJohnette, I get to, make sure he's cool, make him a cup of coffee and bring it out to him in his little cabana. So
right, and make sure he's nice and comfortable.
He's one of the stars of the jazz world who it's an honor to have in our house, and he's played here a few times, and we've been friends for quite a few years.
Yeah, you've had a few of those kind of people. John Scofield's been in your house too,
Yeah, a number of times, and John's wonderful.
Yeah,
and David Amram, he's another one. I always pick him up and bring him to the club. He's in his 90s now, and he'll drive, but I don't want him driving. He lives in Beacon, so I go pick him up, and I get to hang with David Amram, who is just a treasure of pop culture and full of stories. And
you don't have to say a word with him. He will just, and he has more energy than I do, and I'm like, a lot younger than he is.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. He's such a cool guy. And it's great for me to spend time with him. We celebrated his 90th birthday here. Were you here for that one?
I was not. No, not for that.
That was great. Right. He was supposed to do it at Lincoln Center, and because of COVID, it was canceled, and he asked if he could do it here, so it was on his actual 90th birthday.
Oh man. Oh, that's so special. That's
it was an honor to have David do that.
You've had some amazing musicians there. I remember one show in particular. Chris Thiele was there. Right,
with Brad Meldau. They did a duo show right before they made it a record. Chris is great. I love the Punch Brothers, and Chris is a great player, and Brad's no slouch either.
Yeah. You know what? I think one of my top 3 favorite shows were I want to say it must be 2019 now, the show that you had with Christian McBride. And
that was Joshua Redman and the Mood Swing Reunion.
Brian Blade.
Brian and Brad Meldau, Christian McBride, and Joshua Redman.
That was just sick. That was that stayed with me for like a week or two. Like one of the first things I thought of when I woke up in the morning, because I was on such a high from that show. It was, it doesn't get, for me, better than that. That was like...
Yeah, that was great. They spent 3 days here working on new material before they went into the studio and recorded, and they did 2 nights of performances, and I was their sound man for the 3 days and just hanging out with them, taking care of them. And like I'm saying, to be able to do that, even though I'm not playing music with them, which I'm sure would be amazing, just to be the guy to facilitate them to write music and to perform and be comfortable. It's so important for me to do that kind of thing. I love it.
Yep.
We did something like that with Pat Metheny and the Unity Band
Never forget that.
Years ago, and it was the same type of thing. They were here for a few days and just working on the new material. Now it was Pat Metheny and Chris Potter, Antonio Sanchez, and they had 24 songs. They didn't even have names for the songs. They were just numbers, and they worked on that material and worked it out, and then they went into the studio the next day and won the Grammy for the album. So.
Oh, man, and they started it all at the Falcon, man. That was great.
Well, I don't know if they started it, but they definitely put it together and got it ready for the studio at the Falcon.
Right. They polished it all up. I remember how excited you were about that show, Tony. You had on your little suit jacket, which doesn't come out of the closet all that often, and you had special menus printed out, and you were just on cloud nine, and it was so beautiful to see your face over those nights that I was able to be there to see that. And just to watch you was almost as good as just listening to the music.
Yeah, well, my musical heroes are on the stage,
At your place, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
There's been a few like that, when Donald Fagen came and...
Just going to say that. Yes.
Played. That was another one that was just,
Tell me about that.
special.
Go into a little bit of detail with Donald Fagen being there.
Well, his group, the Night Flyers, which included my son Lee, did a tour of the United States, and they were they were rehearsing the band. And actually, they rehearsed in the building, which was the old Falcon, a bit, so I got to hang a bit with
Donald,
and he's at my house, He's in town here, and going to the deli, no one recognizes him. Donald Fagen's in town, but no one knows.
Right. Oh,
and he's a cool cat, and such a musical genius. And to have, my son and... my friends in the band, and they did a pre-show before the tour at the Falcon.
It was a secret show.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was just so much demand to come and see it. I couldn't really put it out to everyone.
Right.
And we filled the room. You were here that night, right?
I was there that night. I was blown away. And your pride in watching your son, just about leaving for this national tour with Donald Fagen. I never get sick of when Lee plays, and I just sometimes just look back up on the altar there. That's what I called your soundboard up there, and just see you looking. I must never get old, right? Seeing your boy playing up there.
I love him, and I love seeing him play. It's just wonderful.
Well, he's made quite a name for himself, and he's 26 now.
Yeah, he just turned 26 in December.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine where he's going to be in 10 or 15 years. He's done some amazing work, and he continues to do so. And he's getting very spread out beautifully with different groups and recording now. And of course, he's got the building, which is now a recording studio.
Right, Building Records.
Yeah. So there's
he and Brandon Morrison and Will Bryant. They're partners in a recording studio, and they've, put out some great records and work with some amazing people.
Yep.
In fact, Little Feat just recorded parts of their new record, the horn section, at the building, which was cool,
Oh, nice.
We have Little Feat, the Building Records is part of the Little Feat record recording.
Nice.
And Stephen Bernstein and Jake Collins and Eric Lawrence were a horn section that was putting together the horn parts for the new record.
Man, good stuff. And of
cool stuff.
Of course, Scott Gerard is now the guitarist for Little Feat.
Yes.
Yeah.
The local boys are doing good.
They are doing
Kennedy's
good.
And Steely Dan.
Yeah.
If we could just get live music back online and get rid of this COVID and going. I'm sure Scott is chomping at the bit.
Oh, he is. I had him on a few months ago. He's like, my two dreams when I was growing up. I loved the Allman Brothers and I loved Little Feat. And he, it's like, hello, he gets to play with both, and he is chomping at the bit, just waiting for the time to happen. And, we just got to keep safe in the meantime, man. So
yeah, well, couldn't happen to a better guy. Scott's great.
Yeah, he is. He is. As are you, Tony Falco. You described somebody as a Hudson Valley treasure. Well, you are a Hudson Valley treasure, and I thank you from my heart and from anyone listening, anyone that knows you, for doing what you do. I fell in love with the first time I walked into the Falcon. I fell in love with that place, and you know why? And it's a really simple thing. I love the fact, and not everybody can do this, and I respect it. But you don't charge a ticket price. And, you know, everybody does their part and everybody knows it. And you've educated your audience so well. It's a donation box. And you can also tip on your credit card if you didn't have cash with you. And the way that you've always done that, and you've been so inclusive of everyone, that was the number one thing that just sucked me into this beautiful place. I know whenever I pull up, and I'm in the parking lot and I'm waiting to go in, I know that I'm home. And I think anybody that has been to the Falcon any amount of time, it's what it feels like. It's just, you know, familiar. And I thank you for doing, and I speak for all the musicians, all your employees, all your customers that say thank you for doing what you do and your love of passion of music and the arts. I mean, Tony, you know, I mean, you are a Hudson Valley treasure. So thank you, seriously, and to keep it going.
You're making me blush here.
We're lucky it's radio, aren't we? So, but you know, and during these times, and you could easily just close those doors, but your heart is too big, and you're like, I'm going to do it as long as I can, and you've been doing this, and you know, it doesn't go unnoticed, and I appreciate it. Everybody else does. Again, it just keeps some of us sane, just to be able to go out and hear music every once in a while. So
yeah, we need to keep it going. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And the donation thing is just great. And people are generous, and you always say that. But you know what? If times are tough and you can't, you put in a couple bucks. If times are great, and I love the way you say it, hey, 40, 50, put $100 in, whatever you can do. And people do that.
They do.
Yeah.
I have some generous patrons, and some that can't afford, they do what they can, and I don't look at them like dollar signs. It's nice to get a little bit away from capitalism and materialism and just have it for the love of music. But, you know, we have to pay our bills, and the artists have to pay their bills, so I do encourage people to be generous, but I don't look at people like dollar signs. I don't want to think in those terms.
Right.
Our society is just corrupted by money.
Yep.
You know, a lot of what's going on now is just about money and corruption. I want to stay away from that.
Yep.
Keep it pure, keep it about love.
And keep it about music, and include everybody. And you're not allowed to come in because you can't afford a ticket price. And for that, I mean, that's just a beautiful thing.
I'm proud of that.
Yep.
And we have no, discrimination of money, of color, of, everyone is welcome at the
Falcon. Everyone. And that's the beautiful thing. And it's just, it's home. It's home for so many of us. And it's a home away from home, I should say. And it just is a very special place. I thank you for having it. I can't tell you what that place means to me. I already told you, Tony, my funeral's going to be at the Falcon. I already told my daughter. Man. I'm not kidding you. I just, we'll celebrate before that happens, but I'm just telling you.
I'm not going to be around for that, Rita. Yeah, I'm going way before you.
No, Tony, we don't know these things. No, I'm not that young. I'm just a few years behind you. I'm not young, I promise you. Well, I am right behind you. So, but who knows? Age almost doesn't have anything to do with it. So we just hope that we all stay safe, especially during these times. I know you've taken extraordinary measures in keeping your place and your staff safe, and all of us patrons.
Yeah, we're all working hard. The team from Fern and everyone. John, the manager, we all really care about keeping everyone safe.
And they do such a kick-ass job. I have to say hello to Fern, who I would guess is listening, and she has just kicked ass with publicity and marketing. And
yeah, have you had her on?
I haven't had her on. Hey, Fern. Hey, Fern. Yeah, I know. You're right.
She's involved with all of this, and and a lot more. She's had a wonderful career in, art and in promotions and news and writing, and she's just an amazing person and a wonderful person.
She really is. She really is. When I used to be in Beacon for my day job at that time, I used to sneak into Bert Fern's apartment, and we used to sit there for an hour or two and just kibbutz and have tea, our famous tea time together, and it was wonderful. Yeah. I miss that. I don't get down to Beacon during the daytime anymore, but it was always fun spending some time with Fern. And also John is back now as
John Evans.
Yes,
yeah. He's been here since the beginning. You know, he left for a while, but he was in Culinary Institute at the time when he first started working here in 2001. And since James left, John has done a wonderful job.
He sure has. He's always steered that ship really nicely, and he's great. He's fantastic. Such a professional and such a pro, and just
should have John on the show.
Works his ass off. He works his ass off. You know,
he does everything.
Yeah,
cooking. He's managing. He's
bartending. He's doing it all.
Doing the books. He was doing payroll today because the bookkeeper is out. John does it all.
Yeah, he's great. It's great that you have people
handed
like
me
that.
a list of everything I have to buy for this weekend, so he keeps me going.
It's like, here's your shopping list this week. So
yeah.
Well, the Falcon is open Friday through Sundays from 6 to 9 p.m. I encourage listeners, geez, if you've been, I don't need to tell you anything, but if you haven't been, treat yourself, because I will put my money on the line and say that you will love it. I don't know anyone that's ever not loved it. And it's just, the vibe is like the best thing in the whole place. The food is yummy, great different menu options, the libation. Tony, you focus on local products a lot, especially in the underground.
We try.
Right? Yeah. I mean, you got it going on, Tony Falco. I want to be you in my next lifetime.
All right, enough, Rita.
Can't take it anymore. No. Tony, I love you. Thank you so much for doing what you do. And
everyone be safe out there and support living artists, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I thank you for your time. Be safe. Hi to Julie. Hi to your family. And I'll see you this weekend.
All right. Okay, Rita, thanks.
Take care.
Well.
Yep. Bye. All right, you've tuned in to 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. That was Tony Falco, owner and operator of Live at the Falcon in Marlboro, also known as just the Falcon in Marlboro. Again, they're open Friday through Sunday. You can sign up for their email list to see what incidental music might be there while you're dining at the Falcon. He's taken lots of safety protocols, and just pure heaven. That place is to me. I'm going to keep the music going. This is an artist that will be at the Falcon later on this month. Let's take a listen to Osnoy here on 91.3.
Happy Traum, and you're listening to Rita Ryan on LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York.
I take a little powder, I take a little salt, put it in my shotgun, I go walking out, juba, woolly bully, looking high, looking low, gonna scare you up and shoot ya, Mr. Charlie told me so. I won't even take your life, won't even take a limb, just unload my shotgun, I'll take a little skin, juba, woolly bully, looking high, looking low, gonna scare you up and shoot you, Mr. Charlie told me so. Well, you take my silver dollar, you take those silver dimes, fix it up together, some alligator wine. But I can hear the drums, voodoo all night long. Mr. Charlie tells me I can't do nothing wrong. Juba, woolly bully, looking high, looking low, gonna scare you up and shoot you, Mr. Charlie told me so. Charlie told me so. Gonna scare you up and shoot ya. Mr. Charlie told me, Mr. Charlie told me so.
Oh, yeah. 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. It's 5:12. That is Rennie Pincus's new release called Grateful, Songs of the Dead. That is the Grateful Dead, of course. Many of you will know that, not all. We just heard Mr. Charlie. This is a new release with a bunch of great special guests, including Annalise and Ryan from the Valley Hour, who are also featured on that track along with Rennie. Rennie will be a guest here on LocalMotion on February 3rd. This release is to benefit the organization Why Hunger. So we're going to talk in depth with Rennie about that on February 3rd. Also, guests on this CD include Jimmy Vivino, Scott Sherrard, Tash Neal, Andy Falco, Alyssa Gray, and of course, as I just mentioned, Annalise and Ryan from the Valley Hour. Thanks for sending this my way, Rennie. Look forward to having you on the show. Also getting us started today with, on this segment, Osnoy, Snapdragon, his latest release was just released a couple of months ago. Also produced by Oz Noy. Snapdragon, we heard the release called Evidence. Oz was a guest on the show a few months back. Great talking with him. If you're not familiar with him, he's quite a talent. OzNoy.com. You can check out more about Oz on that website. And let's keep the music going. More new music that was just sent my way from the Hudson Valley Blues Society. Let's take a listen right here, right now. 91.3 WVKR.
So we're not that old, let's go ahead and start. Love is not a free cloud. Oh, love is not a trap. Yeah, you and me got nothing, just living in the past. One bad day is all you say. There's a pity party on the way. What's the matter, baby? Have you heard the good news? Oh, now, baby, it's who I hate to lose. Go find some other young man to fall into your broken record blues. Well, love is not a free cloud. Yeah, love is not a trap. You and me got nothing, living in the past. One bad day is all you say. That's to make me run away. No more games I gotta play. I look for better days. The better days. The better days. And promises, promises, what you see is what you'll get. But honestly, honesty is still the better bet. And pearls of wisdom fall from your tongue. And if you're not in prison, you'll get the job done. You could be all that I want. You could be all that I need. You could be all that I love. And I could be on my knees. The roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd, promises, what she